Hello listeners and welcome to a MakCorp special podcast. We'll be interviewing Brad Valiukas, Managing Director of AURUMIN Limited, ASX code AUN. And without further ado, hi Brad and thanks for joining us this morning.
Steve, thank you for the opportunity to talk about AURUMIN.
Very excited to hear what AURUMIN's done in its first, or approximately just over a year since listing, and where its future plans are in 22. But let's start with a brief introduction about the company and your team.
Yeah, Steve, as you said, just over a year ago listing, December 2020, we came to market as a gold-focused explorer with advanced projects and the intent of taking those towards development and production and also growing the business. So I think we've made pretty good progress on that. Good team, lots of exploration, but also development and production capacity, including myself, starting up half a dozen operations and fixing up another half a dozen others. And big progress on a first acquisition. So we've got a very busy 2022 planned.
Excellent. Let's start with the last 12 months and what AURUMIN's been doing.
Steve, we had a busy first year and plenty of time on ground. Some really good results up at Mount Dimer. So our Lightning deposit, we've extended that and had some cracking results, including a metre at 153 grams per tonne as we extended that a little bit to the north up there.
Phenomenal grades.
Yeah, sensational. Like super happy when you get those. Really good results at Golden Slipper. Some great results also at LA3, extending that to the north and the south.
And a new discovery.
Yeah, T12, which is our target number 12, still T12 at the moment. Broad, shallow intersections up there, so we're looking forward to progressing that further. Down at Mount Palmer, probably a little bit ambitious very early on, but we've been back out there with some soil sampling and some rock chips. We're waiting for some assays at the moment, and we think plenty of upside remaining. And importantly, we've been very active in the background trying to grow the business and grow the company for shareholders. And we're well progressed on our first acquisition, which is the Sandstone gold assets out of Middle Island.
Let's talk about the acquisition with Sandstone, Brad, and tell us a little bit more about the project.
Yes, Steve. So the $12 million, $6 million cash and $6 million scrip to Middle Island picks us up 784,000 ounces of resource. We think that's compelling value for us and hopefully for our shareholders as well. I think that the project's a really good fit for AURUMIN, and we're a really good fit for it. It's complementary to our Southern Cross projects and just a little bit more advanced than what Mount Dimer is, and certainly there's more critical mass up there as well. So in terms of taking things towards development and production, it ticks all the boxes for us.
And you've already got all the infrastructure built there.
Yeah, there's an existing 500,000 tonne per annum mill. I'd hope long term we're significantly bigger than that, but it's certainly a great place a great asset to have in place. Associated build-up ROM pads, offices, ball fields. There's a camp in town, in the town of Sandstone. There's an excellent airstrip as well. So really well positioned to take it forward, along with a bunch of permitting already in place. Importantly, there's still exploration upside remaining across the tenement package. Middle Island demonstrated that with some recent geochem work, and also last year or the year before, the discovery of the Ridge, McIntyre and McLaren deposits that are there. We think we can replicate that. But most importantly, there's huge upside with the 2 Mile Hill underground resource that's there. There's 500,000 ounces published as a resource, over 360 metres vertically, still open at depth below that, 1,300 ounces per vertical metre. At the moment, a relatively low grade of 1.1 grams per tonne, but I think with some more data we can interpret those geological controls to find the higher grade portions of that, and that's potentially a very significant deposit.
And with Sandstone, what's its priority and progression over the next 12 months?
Steve, it'll be dual priority. The first will be on that 2 Mile Hill underground. Like I said, that will drive a robust operation, long life in Sandstone. We're really looking for a plus 2 gram mining inventory. I envisage 30 metres between levels, 10 to 20 metre wide stopes, and I think that can be very, very profitable. In parallel with that, we'll be working on some of the exploration potential on the surface and looking to add to that open pit inventory. But certainly that'll be a second priority to the underground. And then regionally, we'd still like to expand the portfolio that's up there. I think, within sort of 100 kilometres, there's about 6 million ounces of resources that have been published by different companies, and we'd be quite happy to work with
lots of potential and opportunity.
Yes.
And let's talk about existing Southern Cross projects. Johnson Range.
Yeah, well, our Johnson Range project, we put a resource out there of 65,000 ounces at 2.5 grams in August last year. And we said we were looking at what we're going to do, how we're going to realise value to that. Well, the obvious thing is it swings up now to our Sandstone project and adds to the inventory or potential inventory up there for production. So that's a bit of a no-brainer. So we'll do some work on that to permit it and get it ready for when the time is right. At Mount Dimer, we've got a little bit of opportunity this year to step out more regionally, continue to try and add critical mass and build on those existing deposits that we already have. We put an announcement out this morning talking about doing a little bit of iron ore work up there as well. We've got some gold deposits that are associated with the banded iron formation, so it makes some sense to take some samples for both, and we'll see what that adds.
Brings more opportunity and another commodity.
Yeah, absolutely. We're still gold focused, but you also can't walk past things. At Mount Palmer, we've been doing some more regional type work there at the moment already. In fact, we're waiting on assays at the moment, and I think a little bit like Mount Dimer, you'll see us look at potentially some other commodities in that area as well over this year. And still looking to grow the resources and the footprint at Southern Cross as we look towards moving that to production.
With all this activity and excitement happening, Brad, with your projects, let's talk about the financing moving forward for the ongoing exploration and activities for them.
Yeah, Steve, our biggest financing requirement is for the acquisition of Sandstone. So we've got $3.9 million in the bank after we did a small raising in December last year. We've got a convertible note in place for $5 million, which converts at 30 cents. And we've got a rights issue in progress at the moment, of which $2 million is underwritten. So we're just working through all of that, and that'll set us up quite well for both completing the acquisition and also having enough funds to get out on the ground and start putting in some holes, in particular some deep holes at 2 Mile Hill.
And you're expecting the acquisition to be finalised in the near future?
Steve, our board management stake is 21% at the moment, and we've just bought a few on market as well and intend to participate in the raising that's currently in progress. So I would expect to hold around about that 20% position, which is great. There's everybody here with skin in the game, and really important that we improve the value of the company. We've got a couple of funds.
Well, that shows a lot of belief from the board and management team themselves, putting their own money in.
Well, Steve, I think we're in a great position at the moment. We've got 2 regional projects, lots of upside, ounces on the books, and still in the team to do it. So we've still been progressing on that. There's a couple of funds, so just sit just under 5%, and then the rest of it's pretty much retail these days.
Excellent. And let's talk about the growth of the company. Is there any more plans with that in the future, or is that just something you're sort of looking at from the outside?
So the intent is still to grow the company. So we've got some pretty lofty ambitions overall. So we're obviously looking to move existing projects to production at the moment. We're still looking at options to expand in the Southern Cross and Sandstone area. I think we add critical mass and make those projects bigger. And we are still actively looking outside of those regions as well. And for us, as we push further down that development path, we'd love to bring an operating asset into the mix.
Busy. And let's talk about also something that's important is ESG. Where does AURUMIN sit with that?
Steve, we take that very, very seriously. And in fact, we've done quite a bit in the first year since we've been listed, as much of the capacity as we've had to do on the assets that we've had. So we've done a huge amount of rehabilitation, not just like our work, which is obviously required, but we've fixed up a bunch of legacy stuff as well. We support local in Southern Cross, and we'll support local in Sandstone as well whenever the opportunity is there. Look, I think we've got kicked off really good in a good way with our traditional landholders around that Southern Cross area, and would expect to continue that. And look, I've been involved in putting power plants and looking at renewables quite a lot, and I think when we go to production, we'll come with as low a possible carbon footprint as we can.
Fantastic. And finally, why should people consider investing in AURUMIN?
Steve, I think we've got a really good team and certainly capacity to take the existing projects and other projects forward. We are working really hard to grow the business and trying to preserve shareholder value as well. You can see that both through the Sandstone acquisition and the way we've gone about it. With Sandstone, we've got 2 advanced projects, two regions, and lots of potential. And we're just active on all fronts, both on the ground and trying to grow the business and the company.
And I think you've proven that with all the activity and things that are being done in 21 and the plans for 22. Very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking forward to a busy 2022.
Look, Brad, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I really appreciate your time, and look forward to putting this podcast out to our listeners.
Thanks, Steve.